Alright, seriously, why is nobody talking about these smartphones? Every new heavy hitter comes out every year, everyone is quick to jump on the hype train for the Pros, the Maxes, the Ultras. And then the hype starts to die down a bit and people start talking about the cheaper versions, the FEs, or let's say the Pixel A series, because they are typically the best way to get flagship features at the cheapest possible price. But what about the middle options, whose prices aren't super low, but whose feature sets have been cut down from the headline handsets? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. I don't know about you, but for me, the biggest upgrades that we saw with the Galaxy S24 series were the introduction of AI features, the updated design language to follow the 2024 trends, and the new 7-year Android upgrade support policy. But the thing is, those changes aren't exclusive to the $1,300 Ultra smartphone. They can also be found in the base model Galaxy S24, and I think this very phone in particular slips under the radar. You yourself might not have even considered it because Samsung, at least in recent years, has heavily emphasized the top shelf Ultra and foldable smartphones, making the regular models seem a little bit meh, when in actual fact, that is far from the truth. Also, get this, you know how everyone talks about the Zenfone 10 being the last small flagship? Well, the Galaxy S24, which is a flagship level phone, is only 0.5 millimeter taller, 2 millimeters wider, and is actually 2 mil thinner. Yeah, this phone is practically the same size as the last compact flagship, but actually has a bigger screen thanks to the tiny bezels, and packs an extra camera in at the cost of a little bit of battery size. And no, I wouldn't worry about that battery. This phone easily lasts me a full day with 2 days on the cards if, like me, you don't actually spend heaps of time per day glued to your device. It's 2024, guys. Just because a phone isn't ginormous, it doesn't mean it can't have great battery life, though the charging speeds do leave a little to be desired. Coming from a OnePlus that can top up its cell in less than half an hour, this S24's charging is comparatively slow, but given that most people charge their phone overnight anyway, it's not a deal breaker, and the S24 Ultra isn't light years ahead either. I feel like once you use a Samsung calibrated display, it's really hard to go back. This is another area that people seem to overlook because on paper, this is a bang average display. It's Full HD Plus at 120Hz, but the punchiness, the contrast, the vibrance, everything out of the box just makes it feel that much more special, especially compared to something like the standard AMOLED you might see in an Honor or a OnePlus or a Pixel device. And once again, it proves you don't need to buy the Ultra phone to experience something like this. It's still sharp, responsive with adaptive refresh rate that can get super bright for outdoor viewing as well. Look, I hear you, $800 is not a cheap smartphone, not by any stretch, and there's a reason why Samsung makes the FE model. The Galaxy S24 isn't the most accessible phone to a large chunk of people, but the FE variants just, well, they don't feel as special as this. The super thin bezels, the smooth frosted glass back, and the dense weighting give you the impression that the device is worth serious money, despite the fact that it costs $500 less than the Galaxy S24 Ultra. That's money you could spend on a Steam Deck or a laptop and get years of entertainment out of those. With plenty of RAM, storage and processing power, the S24 has the grunt to keep the phone feeling quick and smooth for a long time, which is very handy given that Samsung is supporting the thing with updates until 2031. It's as quick as pretty much any other Android phone, and whilst you might lose a few percent going with the Exynos model, which is the one available in Europe, that version has proven to beat Qualcomm-powered models in battery life, so it kind of is swings and roundabouts. Plus, I've been playing a load of mobile games recently, which you might have seen on our social medias, so get following if you haven't already. And sure, the smaller panel isn't absolutely optimal for mobile gaming, but it certainly isn't stopping me from having fun on the go. Hey, I know these phones have worse camera hardware than their bigger siblings, and it would be unfair not to mention that, in the camera department at least, Samsung has kind of been resting on its laurels. The Ultra phone kind of went backwards with its worse telephoto camera than the previous generation. But thankfully, the company has been kinder to the S24 by just not changing anything at all. No, literally, all the cameras are the same hardware as last year. So you get a 50 megapixel main, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide and a 10 megapixel telephoto. What does this mean? Well, that if you liked last year's cameras, you're in luck. But also, aside from the oversaturated and over-sharpened look, the S24 once again proves you don't need to go out and buy the best of the best for a very capable camera. That will likely only get better with updates. There is a tendency for this phone to sort of overexpose at times, and it doesn't handle motion that great, it's a bit hit or miss. Samsung's processing in general isn't the most amazing or the most reliable, so if you are looking for that one and done point and shoot, I would recommend going to get a Google handset. But just because the S24 doesn't have a periscope camera or a triple-digit megapixel count or a variable aperture, doesn't mean that it's not a great camera system. It just gets drowned out by all those ultras, the maxes, the pro cameras. And actually, these smartphone cameras have been getting so good that me and many of my peers have been shooting video clips for the videos on a smartphone like this and then splicing it in with the big camera footage. It's just that good. And if you have something like a USB-C wireless mic lav like this thing, plug it straight into the USB-C port, and combined with this portrait selfie video, which granted is full HD 30 instead of Ultra HD 30 to do all the blurring, yeah, you can shoot anything in a pinch. I mean, we could easily be using this as A-roll for this video if we wanted to. I've said it so many times, and it's not limited to the S24 or these kinds of phones, but smartphone video, smartphone cameras in general are just so good right now. Those AI features that once made Pixel phones unique are starting to spread to other smartphones. Samsung's Galaxy AI adjustments like removing objects and photo bombs are present and correct on the S24, alongside the on-the-fly language translation and circle to search. If you see something in a post that you want to buy but you just don't know what it is, it's not in the description, then you just hold down the navigation bar and circle it and it'll come up like a Google search. This feature is actually incredibly useful, the sort of thing that you rarely use, but when you do, you thank your lucky Galaxy stars that you have it. I'm not calling the S24 a perfect phone. While the in-display fingerprint scanner is better than most, it's not 100% for me, and Samsung not upgrading the cameras just feels honestly lazy, and 25-watt charging is so 5 years ago. The flat sides and frosted back remind me of a certain phone with a fruit stamped on the back as well, but you know what? No phone is perfect, and these things certainly aren't deal breakers for me as someone on the hunt for a high-end smartphone. Whoa, hang on a minute. So for $800, you get a true compact flagship, not the last one, without majorly compromising the battery life. You get flagship level performance and screen quality, and very importantly, build quality too. And the device is quick, has the latest AI features, and will get new versions of Android going into the next decade. Yeah, that's a no-brainer for me. No, why is no one talking about these phones, these base model flagships? Because they're the ones to buy in my opinion, and Samsung's Galaxy S24 is a brilliant example of that. Let me know in the comments if you own one of these base model flagships. I rocked a Galaxy S10 for a long time, probably longer than I should have, and I also went for the Pixel 6 over the 6 Pro when that came out. There's just no need to go for the top model every single time. Regardless, please do hit like and subscribe if you're new around here to never miss another upload. I've been Ryan Thomas with Android Police, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.